My novel reverse pathway theory will change and replace contemporary but wrong clonal selection theory of molecular adaptive immunology and will bring novel multibillion, multi-trillion technology for curing of infectious diseases and cancer. It will be discovery of century. Dr. Victor Alexander, PhD in medicine. Today I will explain my new and right reverse pathway theory, which will change whole contemporary but wrong conception and clonal selection theory of molecular adaptive immunology. Background and discussion. The contemporary clonal selection theory, which is explaining the mechanism of adaptive immunology, is alleging that every part of immunoglobulin gene in every naive B cells in bone marrow is undergoing so-called random rearrangement, and that way is gaining unique affinity to one of the random antigen epitope even before meeting with its antigen epitope. But it is totally wrong. Evidences and my theoretical calculation are showing that there are in all naive B cells are not going random rearrangement, but the same pattern rearrangement. The next evidence is showing that clonal selection theory is wrong. First, the clonal selection theory couldn't explain how and why is going so-called affinity maturation and calling it somatic hypermutation phenomenon. It is showing that clonal selection theory is wrong. If any theory includes in itself any phenomenon, it shows that it is wrong and cannot be accepted as a theory. Second, in every infectious diseases and cancer have just definite numbers of antigen epitope per diseases. If believed to random rearrangement theory, billions of naive B cells with random antigen epitopes on membrane surfaces never be used by the immune system of the body and will be wasted by the body. Organism cannot be so wasteful. Also, we have to take into account that all of produced naive B cells have just 1-2 months of half-life spans. It also contradicts with random rearrangement theory of immunoglobulin gene. Third, clonal selection theory couldn't explain why all naive B cells have in membrane surfaces immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin D, and what are their real function. 5. What is real mechanism of polyclonality of immunoglobulins? My reverse pathway theory is able to answer all of these questions. By my reverse pathway theory, all of naive B cells have been synthesized in bone marrow, have the same structure. They are not going in immunoglobulin gene DNA any random rearrangement in all of naive B cells. All of naive B cells are going to lymph nodes or spleen, at first interact with dendritic cells in the lymph nodes or in spleen. and with the help of surface membrane immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin D receptor are obtaining one of the intraluminal vesicles with full of antigen epitope on major compatibility 2. And only after that, naive B cells is getting unique antigen epitope specificity, affinity to this antigen epitope by reverse pathway mechanism, which has been discovered by me. At the second, Th4 cells do not have this mechanism and therefore couldn't activate by dendritic cells. Therefore, activation and cytogen production by Th4 cells is happening after interaction with naive B cells, which had got one of the intraluminal vesicles with full of antigen epitopes on major compatibility 2 from dendritic cell. At third, on the cytokines from Th4 cells in the naive B cell is going synthesis of unknown yet enzyme ribonucleoprotein origin, which is connecting anticodon triplets of transfer RNAs with activated amino acids, which had non-covalent often connection with giving antigen epitope on major compatibility 2, and that way is synthesizing short eRNA, 3975 bases long, in the endosome of naive B cells. I have called it reverse pathway mechanism. This nascent eRNA has a genetic code of often amino acids to the given antigen epitope. Then, with the help of nuclear receptors, this eRNA relocate to VDJ part of immunoglobulin gene of naive B cells, and replaceable model, it is PNDNP model of V part of immunoglobulin gene of naive B cells. And only after that, immunoglobulin gene of naive B cell is getting affinity to given antigen epitope. That way, naive B cell becoming monoclonal antibody producing centroblast and shedding all of the surface immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin D and dividing 9 times and becoming monoclonal antibody synthesizing centrocytes, and is moving to injured with infection or tumors, part of tissue or organs, and becoming often antibody producing plasma cells. Therefore, immunoglobulin G is the first and often immunoglobulins in the body. Let me explain these steps of my reverse pathway mechanism using slides. First discovery. First, all of newly synthesized naive B cells in bone marrow have the same structure. They are not going so-called random rearrangement in V part of immunoglobulin gene, as clonal selection theory is alleging. Second, the membrane surfaces of all of newly synthesized naive B cell have the same immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin D. They are not working as immunoglobulins, but they are working as a receptors for interaction with dendritic cell, as an adhesive receptors for interaction with dendritic cell. They are not affine to any antigen epitope. As an adhesive molecules, they are helping to naive B cell to get one of the intraluminal vesicles from multivesicular body of dendritic cell. Intraluminal vesicles which full of antigen epitope or major compatibility to. Slide 1. Third, Th4 cells do not have this mechanism. Therefore, dendritic cell couldn't activate Th4 cells. For activation of Th4 cells needs at least more than 50 antigen epitope or major compatibility too. Therefore, only naive B cell obtaining one of the intraluminal vesicles with plenty of antigen epitope or major compatibility too from dendritic cell can interact and activate Th4 cells. Only after that begin production of many cytokines by Th4 cells. Slide 2. Fourth, cytokines from Th4 cells activate naive B cell and are beginning synthesis of enzymes in the naive B cell, and naive B cell is shedding all of cell surface immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin D and becoming centroblast cell in the lymph nodes. The second discovery. First, in centroblast cells, endosome, many activated amino acids with transfer RNA connect with antigen epitope polypeptide by non-covalent connection. After that, unknown yet enzyme, it has to be ribonuclear protein origin, connect anticodon triplets of transfer RNAs, and that way synthesizes short eRNA, 3975 bases long, which is carrying exact genetic code of affine amino acids to given antigen epitope. Slide 3. Second, then this short eRNA, with the help of nuclear receptors, relocate to nucleus of centroblast cells and replace replaceable model. It is PNDNP in VDJ section of heavy chain of immunoglobulin gene. That way, V part of heavy chain is becoming very often to give an antigen epitope. Slide 3. Third, only heavy chain has affinity to give an antigen epitope, but not light chain. Light chain is non-specific chain and connects with antigen non-specifically by hydrophobic van der Waals and hydrogen bonds. Slide 4. Conclusions. First, all of naive B cells are synthesizing in bone marrow are the same. There are not going any random rearrangements as alleged contemporary but wrong clonal selection theory. Second, all of naive B cells are getting specific antigen epitope or major compatibility to from dendritic cells with the help of immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin D after interaction with dendritic cell. Immunoglobulin M and immunoglobulin D are using as the specific adhesive receptors for interaction with dendritic cell and is getting one of the intraluminal vesicles from multivesicular body of dendritic cell. Third, Th4 cells do not have this mechanism and therefore couldn't activate by dendritic cell. Therefore, activation of Th4 cells needs interaction with naive B cells, which already had got one of the intraluminal vesicles with full of antigen epitope on major compatibility 2 for activation and production of cytokines. Fourth, all of Th4 cells do not have antigen specificity, foreign antigen specificity. They recognize only self-antigen. All of foreign antigens are recognized by Th4 cells non-specifically as non-self-antigen. Fifth, after interaction with dendritic cell, naive B cell interacts with Th4 cells and activate it. Massive cytokine production by Th4 cells is activating naive B cells and begin synthesis of short eRNA, 3975 bases long. Reverse pathway mechanism which contain genetic code of affine amino acids to given antigen epitope. 6. With the help of nuclear receptors, thyroid hormone receptor and or retinoid X receptor, this eRNA with which is carrying genetic code of affine amino acids to given antigen epitope, relocate to VDJ section of heavy chain of immunoglobulin gene and replace of replaceable model. It is PNDNP model, and only after that VDJ section of immunoglobulin gene is getting affinity to given antigen epitope. 7th, existence of reverse pathway which is creating exact genetic code of affine amino acids from antigen epitope polypeptide is using activated amino acids of transfer RNA through synthesis of short eRNA from triplets of transfer RNA is a unique intrinsic mechanism of molecular adaptive immunology, which is changing the central dogma of molecular biology about that adaptive immune system is able to create exact genetic code from antigen epitope polypeptide to the DNA of immunoglobulin gene for creating affine immunoglobulin G to given antigen epitope polypeptide is using major compatibility 2 mechanism. My novel reverse pathway theory will replace wrong contemporary clonal selection theory and will bring novel sub-technology, it is super antibody technology, for curing of all of infectious disease and cancer. It is new technology, will bring multibillion, multi-trillion profits to any biotech company if will use my research project. My novel sub-technology make it possible to synthesize 100% of human origin of immunoglobulin very often to given infectious microbes and cancer cells. It is non-allergic, long-lasting, 100% of human immunoglobulins and novel subtechnology curing does not depend the immune status of patient as vaccination methods, as all of vaccination methods do. All of chimeric and half of animal origin contemporary monoclonal antibody and CAR T cells are short-living, allergic, and have many unwanted side effects for patients with difficult infectious diseases and cancer. Thanks. Dr. Victor Alexander, PhD in medicine. Thank you.